everyone, it's Madison with PH Doodling. I'm so excited today to share with you my first 2 weekly spread setups from January. If you watched my January Plan With Me video, you know that this month's theme is spa and self-care. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend so you can see my monthly setup for this fun theme. As I'm getting started here, I just want to give you a reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and also don't forget to hit subscribe so you can get notifications about future videos that I post. We'll get started here with week 1. This year I've decided to experiment with a couple different layouts, so you'll notice that these are different from what I was typically doing, and I'm hoping I can find a few more that I enjoy and they're still functional to kind of add into my rotation. You'll see here that for this and most of my planner videos that I actually go ahead and sketch out most of my spreads in pencil before I start filming. I usually do this even before I started this channel, basically drawing everything out in pencil beforehand. It just helps me make sure that I have enough space for everything and all of the doodles that I like to incorporate. You can see here that I've already started outlining the doodles on this first weekly spread with my Micron Pigma pen. When completing these weekly spread setups, that's kind of the first step that I like to do, is go ahead and first outline all the doodles. Then I go on and do most of my lettering and then adding color for each of the boxes. You can see here I'm going to begin working on my mini calendar up in the top left hand corner. I really like having this on my weekly spreads when my space allows it, just so I can kind of see where we are in January or the month in general. You can see this layout also features an event section underneath that mini calendar. I really like having an event section, and so I use this instead of writing specific dates and times on each of my daily boxes. I'll write them over in this event box, so I know that these are the events that I have to attend at certain times. Then I'll use the daily boxes more for a daily to-do list and tasks that I need to complete that day that don't necessarily have a time constraint to them. And finally, in the upper right hand corner, I have a to-do list. I usually like incorporating a space for a weekly to-do list so I can add tasks that need to be completed that week but don't necessarily need to be done on a specific day. This often has space for long-term goals for the week, or even things like editing my planner videos or working on my bullet journal spreads. For this week's setup, I decided to incorporate those colored boxes that I use throughout my monthly setup. I really enjoyed doing this, and I felt like it added just enough color to complete the spread, but yet I still had plenty of room to write events and my daily tasks for each day. I really love the color palette that I chose for this theme. I wanted it to be kind of calm and relaxing, and blues and grays really just kind of fit that vibe for me. You can see I mostly used those blue and gray tones throughout my setup, but added subtle hints of green, purple, and yellow just to kind of add a few pops of color. I really like how it came together. When I make and create my weekly spread setups, I really try to have a balance of creativity and functionality in these weekly spread setups. I like having, the fun motifs that go with my theme, but also having enough space to write tasks and events that I need to complete that week. And I really think this spread offers a great balance between those two, and I love how it turned out. Now moving on to my week 2 spread setup for January. This spread is similar to ones that I've done previously. I like doing this layout where I have 4 boxes on each page, where each box is dedicated to a day, and then I have an extra one either to put a mini calendar or a weekly to-do list. So now we'll go ahead and start outlining the few doodles that I do have on this page. I have to say, one of the great things about this notebook is the paper. I can't even tell you how smooth it is, no matter if you're writing with pen, pencil, or markers. There have been points when I have been working in this new journal and my pen just kind of slides a little bit, not exactly where I want it to go because of how smooth the paper is. I'm also very impressed with the ability of the paper to withstand a lot of marker and paint and things like that. The pages are so thick that you don't see any bleed through, which this was a problem that I had last year with the journal that I used. It was a not very high quality journal, and I can definitely say it is worth it to spend a little extra to get a very high quality journal like this one from Archer and Olive, because it is just so much nicer. So I couldn't recommend it more. If you're interested in making a purchase from Archer and Olive, I actually have a 10% coupon code that you can find below in the description on your first purchase. You can see here I've added colored boxes to each day of the week, and I'm going through and doing the lettering for the day of the week. To do my lettering, I used my hard tip Tombow pen. What's really great about this pen is dependent upon the amount of pressure that you add. When you're writing, you can actually change the thickness of your line. And so I'll use this when doing calligraphy. I'll go ahead and use very thin pressure to write out the word that I'm wanting to write. And then I'll go back in with more pressure and add in the downstrokes to kind of create that fox calligraphy look. It looks just the same as if you were to actually do real calligraphy, but it's a great tip if you're still trying to learn and refine those skills while still having that great calligraphy look. This spread is pretty simple and can be completed quickly, so it's a great one to use if you don't have a lot of time at the beginning of the week to set up your spread. I really like how it turned out and I'm excited to use it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. I'll be back next week when I post part 2 of my weekly spread setup where I set up weeks 3 and 4 for January. Thank you so much for watching. Happy doodling!